Josh Hart is a star. Josh Hart did everything last night. 7 points might not pop off the page, but he was everywhere. 12 rebounds? That is ridiculous for a guard. 9 assists? He was setting up teammates left and right. 2 steals? His defense was on point. And the efficiency was there too. 60% from the field, 50% from deep, barely missing a shot. He played 39 minutes and never slowed down. That kind of hustle is what makes him so valuable. You can seriously argue he is the 3rd best player on the team. His impact goes way beyond the box score. He rebounds like a big, passes like a point guard, and locks in on defense. It is rare to find a guy who does all of that and still plays within the offense. He does not force bad shots. He does not make dumb mistakes. He just makes winning plays. The way he controls the glass, especially late in games, gives them a huge edge. That kind of energy changes everything. He is the definition of a glue guy, but honestly, that undersells him. Glue guys do not stuff the stat sheet like this. Hart is just different, but when you look at Hart as a whole for the season, it gets even crazier. He's averaging over 14 points a game, which ranks 73rd in the league, but his impact goes far beyond scoring. He's pulling down 9.5 rebounds per game, which leads all guards this season. That's not just good for his position. It's elite. His 5.5 assists per game show he's also sharing the ball and keeping the offense flowing. And let's not forget his shooting efficiency. 55.7% from the field is outstanding. Hart is proving to be one of the best non-bigs at grabbing contested offensive rebounds. He's pulled down 44 of them, putting him 6th among players like Pascal Siakam and Michael Porter Jr. That hustle gives his team so many extra possessions. Speaking of hustle, he's also racking up second chance points with 78 this season. That's 4th among guards and a testament to his never quit attitude. His defense has been a game changer, and he's willing to sacrifice his body for the team. Whether it's grabbing a tough rebound or diving on the floor for a loose ball, Hart embodies grit, passion, and heart. He's been so impactful. Fans are joking they need a Josh Hart Award for hustle and energy. Hart's rebounding dominance has been pivotal. His 9.5 rebounds per game not only lead guards, but are better than many forwards and centers. This level of effort is exactly why he's adjusted so seamlessly to a starting role. He's had double-doubles in 12 of his last 13 games, which is mind-blowing for someone who's 6'4". In clutch moments, Hart shines. He's shooting 38.5% on late shot clock three-pointers, ranking 4th among all players in those situations. And in transition, he's drawing and won opportunities at a rate of 7.4%, second only to Karl Anthony Towns. That's efficiency and toughness rolled into one. When it comes to trades, he might just be the best in-season acquisition the Knicks have ever had. I still can't believe it only took Reddish and a pick. He's not just playing well, he's redefining what it means to play Knicks basketball. His grit, his energy, and his relentless effort set the tone for the entire team. Without him, they'd lose so many of those little moments that add up to big wins. By the way, if you guys enjoy these deep dives, I'll be posting every day during this season. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks. Anyways, Hart's ability to rebound and create second chance opportunities is rare, especially for a shooting guard. And his transition play, with that high and one frequency, gives them an edge in fast break situations. Every aspect of his game screams winner, and it's clear why his teammates and fans love him so much. He's not just a player, he's the heartbeat of this team. Josh Hart's season has been a masterclass in doing the little things that lead to big results. He's not just putting up stats, he's making winning plays night after night. It's hard to imagine this team being as successful without him. His effort, his energy, and his heart are what make him truly special. But for Hart, you gotta dig into the advanced stats to know how great he truly is. Let's start with his scoring. He's putting up 14.2 points per game, which ranks higher than 88% of players. That alone tells you how efficient he's been, but the advanced stats make it even more impressive. His effective field goal percentages sitting at 62.1%, which puts him ahead of more than 91% of players. That stat factors in the added value of three-pointers, so it's a strong indicator of just how efficient his shooting's been. He's scoring 1.2 points per field goal attempt, which is elite efficiency. Then there's his true shooting percentage, which is at 65.6%. That's absurdly good. True shooting takes into account free throws, two-pointers, and three-pointers, and the fact that he's converting at such a high rate shows how smart he is with his shot selection. He's getting the most out of every possession, and that's exactly what you want from a scorer. Hart's averaging 4.1 two-pointers made per game, 1.2 three-pointers made per game, and taking 9.6 shots overall. That means he's not forcing anything, just taking what the defense gives him and making the most of it. He's also getting to the line 2.7 times per game, which adds another layer to his efficiency. When you're scoring 1.3 points per scoring attempt, you're giving your team a massive boost every time you touch the ball. He's not just putting up numbers, he's doing it in a way that maximizes every possession. Scoring efficiently is one of the hardest things to do in the NBA, and Hart's figured out how to do it without taking bad shots or forcing the issue. He plays within the offense, but still manages to be a high-impact scorer. The fact that his shooting efficiency is better than more than 90% of the league is wild. It's one thing to put up solid scoring numbers, but to do it at this level of efficiency is what separates good players from great ones. He doesn't waste possessions, he doesn't take low percentage shots, and he knows exactly when to attack. Hart's ability to finish plays at such a high rate's been a huge part of why his team's been so competitive. When you've got a player who can give you 14 points a night on this kind of efficiency, it takes so much pressure off the rest of the team. He's not just getting buckets, he's making sure every shot he takes counts. His combination of effective field goal percentage and true shooting percentage puts him in elite company. When you're scoring 1.3 points per scoring attempt, you're making every single touch matter. That level of efficiency is rare, and it's what makes him such a valuable piece for this team. Hart's figured out the perfect balance between volume and efficiency. He's not jacking up shots just to put up points, he's making every attempt matter. His ability to knock down shots inside and outside, get to the line, and convert at a high rate is what makes him such a special scorer. But I want to talk about his teamwork stats, because that's where he really thrived. Josh Hart's advanced teamwork stats this season have been absolutely incredible. He's not just playing good basketball, he's making everything around him better. His mixed teamwork rating is sitting at 95%, meaning he's outperforming nearly every player in the league when it comes to positively affecting his team's performance. That number alone shows just how impactful he's been. But when you break it down further, it becomes even more impressive. His offensive rating is 120.3, which is a huge number. That means when he's on the floor, his team's scoring at an elite level. He's making the right plays, keeping the ball moving, and creating easy opportunities for his teammates. He doesn't need to take every shot to have an impact, but when he does shoot, he's efficient. He picks his spots, finds gaps in the defense, and makes sure every possession counts. That's exactly the kind of player every team needs. Someone who's not just thinking about their own numbers, but about how to make the entire team better. His defensive rating is 114.5, which shows how reliable he's been on that side of the ball too. He's not just an offensive player. He's putting in work on defense, challenging shots, switching onto different matchups, and making things tough for opponents. When you put that together with his offensive impact, his net rating comes out to plus 5.8. That means when he's on the court, his team's outscoring opponents by nearly 6 points per 100 possessions. That's a huge difference. Then there's his plus minus. 60.5% of the games he's played in this season, he's finished with a positive plus minus. That means more often than not, when he's on the floor, his team's winning those minutes. That's not just a random stat. That's the ultimate measure of a player's impact. When a guy's consistently on the floor while his team's outplaying opponents, it proves he's doing all the right things to contribute to winning. And his on-off numbers are just as impressive. His on-off impact is plus 3.4, meaning his team performs significantly better when he's on the court compared to when he's off. That number's huge because it shows that his presence alone changes the way the team plays. Whether it's the energy he brings, the way he moves the ball, or how he sets the tone on defense, there's a noticeable difference when he's playing. Hart's the type of player who makes everyone around him better. He doesn't need the ball in his hands all the time to make an impact. He knows how to fit within an offensive system, how to move without the ball, and how to get his teammates involved. He's constantly making the right pass, setting the right screen, and finding ways to contribute that don't always show up in the box score. That's what separates him from so many other players. But it's not just about his passing or scoring efficiency. His rebounding alone is a game changer. He's always in the mix, grabbing tough boards and giving his team extra possessions. And that's what makes him such a special player. He doesn't take plays off. He doesn't wait for others to make things happen. He just gets things done. He plays with so much energy, and that energy is contagious. His ability to impact both ends of the floor is why his advanced stats look the way they do. He's not just contributing in one area, he's influencing the entire game. And that's why his mixed teamwork rating is in the top 5% of the league. He's a player that every team wants to have because he brings so much value without demanding the spotlight. Every successful team has a guy like Josh Hart, someone who's willing to do whatever it takes to win. He doesn't care about personal stats. He cares about making the right plays. He knows when to pass, when to shoot, when to crash the glass, and when to lock in on defense. Those little things add up over the course of a season, and that's why he's been so valuable. His impact's undeniable. The numbers don't lie. He's a plus player in every way, offensively, defensively, and in the way he makes his team function. He's the type of player that makes winning easier. His stats prove it, his effort proves it, and the results prove it. Josh Hart's the definition of a difference maker, and his ball handling numbers are crazy too. Josh Hart's ball handling this season has been nothing short of elite. His ball handling rating sitting at 94%, meaning he's better than almost the entire league in that category. That alone speaks volumes, but when you break it down, it becomes even clearer why he's been so important to his team's success. He's averaging 5.5 assists per game, showing just how much he's creating for his teammates. He's not just dribbling to get his own shot. He's actively setting up others and keeping the offense flowing. His assist percentage is at 19.21%, meaning when he's on the floor, nearly 1 out of every 5 made field goals by his teammates comes from his passing. That's a massive impact for someone who's not even the primary ball handler. And the efficiency's just as impressive. He's assisting on 13.5 points per game, showing that when he's running the offense, his team's getting high-quality looks. But what makes it even more special is how careful he is with the ball. His turnover percentage is only 10.7%, meaning he's turning it over on less than 11 out of every 100 possessions he finishes. That's better than over half the league. He's averaging just 2 turnovers per game, despite handling the ball a lot and creating for others. That's the mark of a smart and controlled ball handler. He's making plays, keeping the ball moving, and staying efficient. His scoring attempts are at 10.8 per game, meaning he's balancing his own offense with setting up his teammates perfectly. Hart's ability to take care of the ball while also being a playmaker is rare. So many players rack up assists, but also have high turnover numbers. He's figured out the perfect balance. He's making plays without making mistakes. That's why he's such an asset when he's handling the ball. His ball handling skills let him break defenses down, find open teammates, and keep the offense running smoothly. He's not just dribbling aimlessly, he's purposeful with his movement, always looking for the right pass or the right opportunity to attack. That's why his assist numbers are so strong and his turnover numbers are so low. His ranking in ball handling alone puts him ahead of 94% of players. But when you add in his assist percentage and turnover rate, it becomes clear just how efficient he's been. He's playing like a true floor general when the ball's in his hands, controlling the game without forcing bad decisions. And it's not just about the numbers, it's the way he plays. He's confident, controlled, and makes quick decisions. He doesn't hold on to the ball too long, he doesn't get stuck in bad situations, and he knows when to pass and when to take a shot. That kind of awareness is what makes him such a valuable ball handler for his team. Hart's not just a guy who moves the ball, he's a guy who dictates the pace of the game. He knows how to slow it down when needed, push the tempo when there's an opening, and make sure his team's always in control. That's why his assist numbers are so strong, while his turnovers stay low. He's not forcing passes into traffic. He's not over-dribbling. He's just making the right play over and over again. His ability to handle the ball so well also gives his team a huge advantage when he's on the floor. When you've got a player who can pass at a high level, take care of the ball, and create for others without making mistakes, it makes the entire offense more dangerous. That's exactly what he brings every night. And it's not just about flashy passes or breaking ankles, it's about efficiency. He's getting his teammates easy looks while keeping the offense running smoothly. That's why he's assisting on so many points per game while turning the ball over so rarely. That level of ball control is rare, and it's a huge reason why his team's been so successful. When Hart's handling the ball, everything just flows better. He's not dribbling for the sake of dribbling. He's not holding on to the ball too long. He's just making the right play at the right time. And that's why he's such an important piece for his team. His ability to handle the ball, set up teammates, and keep things moving without making mistakes is what separates him from so many other players. His impact as a ball handler isn't just about the stats. It's about the way he makes everything easier for his team. He's a player who understands spacing, timing, and rhythm, and that's why he's so valuable. He's not just another guy bringing the ball up the floor. He's controlling the game, and that's why his advanced ball handling stats are so impressive. He's creating offense at a high level, making smart decisions, and keeping his team's offense running at full speed. That's the mark of a true playmaker, and Hart's proving night after night that he's one of the best at what he does. But Hart has also been a monster on defense. Josh Hart's defense this season has been absolutely incredible. He's ranked ahead of more than 82% of players in mixed team defense, meaning he's shutting down his matchups while also making a massive impact on team defense. He's doing way more than just guarding his man. He's preventing scoring at every level, disrupting plays before they happen, and making life miserable for opposing offenses. He's averaging 1.5 steals per game, proving just how active he is in passing lanes. He's not waiting for mistakes. He's forcing them. He's reading plays, cutting off passes, and making sure ball handlers can't get comfortable. His hands are everywhere, poking the ball loose, forcing bad decisions, and turning defense into fast break opportunities. And while he's not a primary shot blocker, he's still averaging nearly half a block per game, showing that he's willing to challenge shots and protect the rim when needed. Rebounding is another huge part of his defensive game, and it's where he truly separates himself from most perimeter players. He's pulling down 7.3 defensive rebounds per game, which is elite for a guard. That means he's not just getting stops, he's making sure possessions end. He's keeping bigs off the glass, boxing out stronger players, and making sure his team secures the rebound instead of giving up second chance points. Those extra possessions are game changers. His team's defensive efficiency sits at 114.5 when he's on the floor, proving they're significantly better with him in the lineup. When a single player's presence improves an entire team's defensive rating, that's not just solid defense, that's elite impact. He's communicating, hustling, rotating at the right times, and making sure his teammates are in the right spots. That kind of effort doesn't always show up in the box score, but it makes all the difference in winning basketball. Hart's ability to make winning plays on defense is exactly why he's so valuable. He's not just relying on quick hands or athleticism, he's using his IQ to read plays before they happen, rotate to cut off driving lanes, and put himself in the best position to force bad shots. That's why his mixed defense rating is so high. He's not just reacting to plays, he's dictating what offenses can and can't do. His ability to guard multiple positions makes him even more dangerous. He's strong enough to hold his own against bigger players, quick enough to stay in front of guards, and smart enough to make the right switches when needed. That versatility is rare, and it's a huge reason why he's one of the best defensive players on his team. He's not locked into just one role. He can do whatever is needed to slow down an offense. And let's talk about that rebounding again. 7.3 defensive rebounds per game is unreal for a player his size. Guards don't usually dominate the glass like that, but Hart plays way bigger than his frame. He's boxing out bigger players, fighting for loose balls, and making sure his team gets every rebound possible. Those extra possessions matter, and they're a huge reason why his defense has been so impactful this season. His steal numbers are just another example of how disruptive he is. It's not just about picking off bad passes, it's about reading the floor, anticipating movement, and shutting down plays before they even develop. He's always engaged, always locked in, and always making sure the opposing offense has to work for every single bucket. Defense isn't just about effort, it's about discipline and intelligence. And Hart checks every single box. He's not gambling for steals, he's not overhelping and leaving shooters open, and he's not taking plays off. He's reading the game at a high level, staying in the right spots, and making sure his presence is felt on every possession. That's why he's ranked ahead of more than 82% of the league in overall defensive impact. When you have a player like Hart on your team, you know you're getting maximum effort every possession. He's not the tallest, not the longest, and not the flashiest, but his impact is massive because of how hard he works. He's making winning plays on defense every single night, and it's showing in the numbers. And his defensive stats don't just look good on paper, they directly translate to winning basketball. His team is better when he's on the floor because he's constantly making things harder for the opposing offense. He's not just playing solid defense, he's setting the tone for the entire team, forcing opponents to take bad shots and shutting down scoring opportunities before they even start. His ability to disrupt offenses without fouling is another key part of his defensive game. He's not just reaching in and hoping for steals. He's moving his feet, staying in front of ball handlers, and using his positioning to cut off easy paths to the basket. That's why he's able to stay on the floor for big minutes while remaining an elite defender. And it's not just about individual stats, it's about impact. His defensive presence changes the entire feel of the game. He's the kind of player who forces opponents to adjust their game plan just to deal with his pressure. When he's guarding someone, they know they're going to have to work for every single shot. That's the definition of a lockdown defender. Hart's effort on defense is relentless. He's never taking plays off, never losing focus, and never letting his assignment get comfortable. That's why he's been such a huge part of his team's success this season. Whether it's shutting down his man, forcing a turnover, grabbing a key rebound, or helping out on a rotation, he's always doing something that makes an impact. The numbers back it up, the eye test backs it up, and the results back it up. Josh Hart is one of the most impactful defenders in the league this season. He's not just playing good defense, he's setting the standard for what elite, all-around effort looks like. But the thing we all know Hart for, his rebounding. Josh Hart's rebounding this season has been absolutely unreal. He's a 6'4" guard but he's pulling down boards like a center. He's averaging 9.5 rebounds per game, which puts him ahead of more than 89% of all players in the league. That's not just good for his position, it's elite for any player, regardless of size. His rebounding splits are just as impressive. He's snagging 7.3 defensive rebounds per game and 2.2 offensive rebounds per game. That shows he's not just grabbing the easy ones, he's fighting for extra possessions and securing stops on the other end. His offensive rebounding percentage is 6.16%, meaning he's grabbing more than 6% of all available offensive rebounds while he's on the floor. That's better than 73% of the league. For a guard, that's insane. And then there's his defensive rebounding percentage. It's sitting at 19.44%. which ranks him ahead of more than 84% of all players. That's an impact stat that completely changes the way his team plays. He's not just helping out on the boards, he's dominating them. Most guards aren't anywhere near that level when it comes to rebounding, but Hart's different. He's built for this kind of hustle. Rebounding is about effort, positioning, and instincts. And Hart's got all three. He knows where the ball's going before it even hits the rim, and he's got the motor to chase down rebounds against bigger players. He's not letting height be a disadvantage. He's outworking guys who have a serious size advantage. That's why his rebounding numbers aren't just impressive, they're game-changing. His 9.5 rebounds per game aren't just empty stats, they're impacting every possession. When a guard's pulling down that many rebounds, it takes so much pressure off the bigs and allows his team to get out in transition faster. He's securing possessions, creating second chance opportunities, and making sure opponents aren't getting easy putback. That kind of hustle separates him from so many other players. His ability to grab offensive rebounds is huge because it means more scoring chances for his team. He's keeping plays alive, forcing defenses to stay engaged, and giving his teammates extra opportunities to score. Those extra possessions add up over the course of a game, and they're a big reason why he's so valuable. And on the other end, his defensive rebounding is just as important. He's making sure opponents aren't getting second chance points, which is one of the biggest factors in winning games. When a team can finish a defensive possession with a rebound, it completely shifts momentum. Hart's making that happen every night, and the numbers prove it. His rebounding percentage stats show just how much ground he's covering. He's grabbing nearly 20% of all available defensive rebounds when he's on the court, and that's a number usually reserved for big men. The fact that he's doing this at 6'4" is almost unheard of. Most players his size focus on scoring or playmaking, but Hart's figured out how to impact the game in a way that most guards don't even think about. Hart's rebounding isn't just about raw numbers, it's about impact. He's consistently winning possessions for his team, whether it's stopping second chance points or creating them. He's outworking opponents, reading the ball perfectly, and making sure every rebound counts. That's what makes him such a special player. Every team needs a guy who can do the dirty work, and Hart's embraced that role. He's not just waiting for rebounds to fall into his hands, he's attacking the glass and making things happen. That energy and effort are why he's one of the best rebounding guards in the league. Rebounding isn't always the most glamorous part of the game, but it's one of the most important. Hart understands that, and he plays with a level of effort that makes him one of the best at it. His ability to rebound like a big while playing like a guard is one of the biggest reasons why he's been so valuable this season. And it's not just about getting rebounds, it's about knowing when and where to grab them. He's not just standing around, waiting for a missed shot to land in his hands. He's reading the angles, tracking the ball, and putting himself in the perfect position to grab it before anyone else. That kind of awareness makes a huge difference. And it's a big reason why he's leading all guards in rebounding this season. His defensive rebounding isn't just about grabbing the ball. It's about preventing second chance points. Every time he snatches a rebound away from an opponent, that's a possession his team doesn't have to defend again. That's huge because it lets his team control the tempo of the game. Rebounding might not get the same attention as scoring, but without it, everything else falls apart. And Hart makes sure that never happens. His offensive rebounding is just as important. He's giving his team extra shots by fighting for rebounds on missed attempts, and that puts so much pressure on opposing defenses. It's hard enough to stop an offense once, but when you've got a guy like Hart crashing the boards, defenses have to work twice as hard. Those second chance points add up quickly, and they make a massive difference in close games. Hart's rebounding numbers are rare for a guard, but they're not just happening by accident. He's making the extra effort every single possession, putting himself in the right spots, and battling for boards, like his life depends on it. That's why he's such an elite rebounder, despite being 6'4". He's playing bigger than his size, and he's showing that rebounding isn't just about height. It's about heart, effort, and instincts. It's hard to find another player at his position who impacts the glass the way he does. He's not just out-rebounding other guards, he's out-rebounding forwards and centers too. That's what makes him so unique. He's playing like a traditional big when it comes to rebounding, but he's still bringing all the skills of a guard. That combination is rare, and it's why he's one of the most valuable players on his team. His rebounding doesn't just help on the stat sheet, it changes the way his team plays. With Hart grabbing so many rebounds, his team can push the pace, control the tempo, and dictate the flow of the game. That's something most teams rely on their bigs to do, but Hart's proving that a guard can take on that responsibility too. Everything about his rebounding this season has been elite. He's grabbing more boards than most big men, he's leading all guards in rebounding efficiency, and he's making sure every possession counts. That's what makes him such a difference maker, and that's why his rebounding numbers are some of the best in the entire league. I want to look at more of his offensive numbers though, just to prove how great he is. Josh Hart's advanced offensive impact this season has been unbelievable. He's a 6'4" guard, but he's playing like an all-around offensive weapon. His efficiency, playmaking, and ability to create opportunities for his teammates have made him one of the most valuable players on the floor. His true shooting percentage is sitting at 63.5%, which puts him in the 90th percentile. That means he's scoring more efficiently than 90% of players in the league. That's ridiculous for a player who isn't even the primary scoring option on his team. His shot quality is just as impressive, coming in at 59.9, ranking him in the 62nd percentile. That shows he's taking smart shots, not forcing tough attempts, and maximizing every opportunity. He's not just throwing up shots for the sake of it. He's making sure every single attempt is high percentage. That kind of decision making is what separates efficient scorers from volume shooters. His free throw rate is at 26.8%, ranking in the 69th percentile. That means he's not just settling for jumpers, he's attacking the basket, drawing contact, and putting pressure on defenders. When a guard can consistently get to the free throw line, it forces teams to adjust how they play defense. That's exactly what he's doing, and it's creating easier shots for both himself and his teammates. His three-point attempt rate is 36%, ranking in the 37th percentile. That means he's maintaining a balanced scoring approach. He's not just launching threes, but he's also not ignoring them. He's keeping defenders honest, spacing the floor, and making sure he's a threat from deep without over-relying on the shot. That level of offensive versatility makes him even more dangerous. One of the biggest reasons Hart has been so impactful on offense is his rebounding. He's averaging 2 offensive rebounds per game, which puts him in the 89th percentile. That's elite for a guard. He's not just snagging easy rebounds, he's creating second chance opportunities, keeping plays alive, and giving his team extra possession. Those extra shots add up quickly, and they're a big reason why his team's offense has been so efficient when he's on the floor. Turnovers can be a problem for playmakers, but Hart's turnover percentage is only 8.7%, ranking in the 45th percentile. That means he's taking care of the ball while still creating for others. He's making smart passes, avoiding careless mistakes, and ensuring his team keeps possession. That's the mark of a high IQ offensive player. His offensive load sits at 29.4, ranking in the 64th percentile. That shows he's playing a significant role in the offense. He's not the number one option, but he's heavily involved in making plays happen. And he's doing it at a high level. He's taking on a big responsibility without forcing bad shots or turning the ball over too much. His offensive creation metric is at 4.2, ranking in the 73rd percentile. That means he's not just scoring, he's setting up teammates for good looks too. He's creating shots, making the right reads, and making sure the offense keeps moving smoothly. That kind of playmaking ability makes him even more valuable. His portability score is at 7.8, ranking in the 90th percentile. That means he can fit into almost any lineup, any system, and any style of play. He doesn't need the ball in his hands to be effective. He can play off the ball, be a secondary playmaker, or adjust based on what his team needs. That adaptability is rare, and it's a huge reason why he's been such a key piece this season. His passer rating is at 7.6, ranking in the 93rd percentile. That's elite for a player who isn't even a full-time point guard. He's making quick decisions, delivering accurate passes, and making sure his team gets high-quality looks. He's not just making simple passes, he's setting up teammates for easy buckets, keeping the offense flowing, and reading the defense at a high level. That's what makes him such a great facilitator. His offensive plus-minus is at 0.8, ranking in the 85th percentile. That means when he's on the floor, his team's offense is significantly better. He's not just putting up numbers, he's making everyone around him better. That's the kind of impact every coach wants from a player. Hart's offensive game isn't just about scoring, it's about efficiency, playmaking, and creating extra possessions. He's playing smart, unselfish basketball while still finding ways to put points on the board. His ability to fit into different offensive roles makes him one of the most versatile players on his team. His efficiency is what makes him stand out the most. 63.5% true shooting is absurd for a player who isn't taking a huge volume of shots. He's maximizing every possession, getting to the line, knocking down open looks, and finishing inside at a high rate. That kind of efficiency is rare, and it's a huge reason why he's been such an important part of his team's offense. His shot selection is another reason for his success. His shot quality rating shows he's not taking bad shots. He's picking his spots and making sure he's getting the best looks possible. He's not forcing tough shots or throwing up inefficient attempts just to put up points. That kind of patience and discipline is what makes a great offensive player. His ability to get to the free throw line adds another dimension to his offensive game. When a guard can consistently draw fouls, it forces defenders to play differently. Hart's doing that at a high level, and it's making his team's offense even better. Those free throw attempts aren't just extra points. They're momentum shifters that can change the flow of a game. His offensive rebounding is another reason he's so valuable. 2 offensive rebounds per game might not sound like a lot, but for a 6'4" guard, that's elite. He's creating second chance opportunities, keeping possessions alive, and giving his team extra shots. Those hustle plays don't always get attention, but they're crucial to winning games. His ability to control turnovers proves how smart he is with the ball. He's not making risky passes, he's not dribbling into trouble, and he's making sure his team keeps possession. A turnover percentage under 9% is elite for someone who's involved in the offense as much as he is. His offensive load shows he's playing a major role in the offense without dominating the ball. He's making plays, keeping everything moving, and making sure his team's offense is running at full speed without forcing bad shots. That's the definition of a player who makes the game easier for everyone else. His playmaking has been just as impressive as his scoring. He's creating shots for teammates at a high level, ranking in the top tier for playmaking metrics. His assist numbers might not be the highest, but his passing impact goes beyond basic stats. He's making the right reads, setting up teammates in the best spots, and making sure every possession is a good one. His ability to adjust to different offensive roles is what makes him such a special player. He can fit into any lineup, play any role, and still make a huge impact. He's not just a scorer, not just a playmaker, and not just a rebounder. He's doing all of it at an elite level. That kind of versatility is rare, and it's why he's been such a valuable piece this season. Everything about his offensive game has been elite. His efficiency, his playmaking, his rebounding, and his ability to fit into any system. He's playing smart, impactful basketball, and the numbers prove just how valuable he's been. That's what makes him one of the most important offensive players on his team. Overall, though, Josh Hart has been absolutely phenomenal for the Knicks this season. He's been the ultimate all-around player, doing everything his team needs at an elite level, whether it's scoring efficiently, making smart passes, dominating the glass, playing lockdown defense, or creating extra possessions. Hart has been a game changer in every aspect. His true shooting percentage, however, ranks among the best in the league, proving he's not just scoring, he's scoring efficiently. He's taking smart shots, getting to the free throw line, and making every possession count. His playmaking has also been elite, with a passer rating in the 93rd percentile, showing he's not just looking for his own shot, but making the right reads to keep the offense flowing. Then there's his rebound, which has been completely unreal for a 6'4" guard. He's pulling down nearly 10 rebounds per game, outworking bigger players, and securing both defensive and offensive boards at a ridiculous rate. His hustle on the glass has given his team countless extra possessions, and that kind of effort is invaluable. On the defensive side, he's shutting down opponents at both the individual and team level, ranking ahead of more than 82% of players in mixed defense. He's making stops, grabbing rebounds, forcing turnovers, and doing everything a high IQ defender should do. Josh Hart's impact isn't just in one area, it's everywhere. He's efficient, he's smart, he's unselfish, and he plays with non-stop energy. He's the kind of player every team wants because he makes winning plays night after night. The Knicks are a better team with Hart on the floor, and this season, he's proven why he's one of the most valuable and versatile players in the league.